Hi everybody, it's Esther. I say everybody as if people are watching my videos and they're not, but maybe at some point they will. So I know this is not the best angle, but all I've got is a cell phone and a little kickstand on the back of my case, and yeah. So I just wanted to make a video addressing pregnancy jealousy. Um, I think it's totally normal. I was just commenting on someone's video where they had lost a baby at 20 weeks, and she was talking about how bad she felt that she was jealous when people that were pregnant at the same time as her got past the point she was at. And it got me thinking how a lot of moms, when things go horribly wrong like that, or even when things just go a little bit wrong and it just wasn't the way that they wanted it to go, like they feel horrible for having what I would refer to as pregnancy jealousy. Jealousy that someone else's pregnancy or childbirth went a way that they didn't, that theirs didn't, and that they wanted theirs to go. And I think it's totally normal and okay, and in some cases necessary to let yourself feel those emotions. I don't like seeing people shame other people for having feelings of jealousy or sadness if things didn't go the way that they wanted them to go. So I'm just going to kind of talk about my personal situation with pregnancy jealousy and why I don't like the fact that there's like that people have to feel bad about it, because I don't want to be made to feel bad about the fact that I feel jealous. But the thing about it is that a lot of times you don't really get shamed, but you get kind of cut off. And people are just like, well, it could have gone this way and it could have gone that way, and at least it didn't do this. And that's their way of cutting it off and not letting you talk it out. I've been dying to talk to somebody. And every time I try to talk to someone that I think I can talk to, I get cut off. And it just gets told, well, at least your kids survived. They're healthy now, so that's all that matters. And then they move on. And I don't, I kind of discussed it in my very first video. I don't think that video kind of turned out very well. I don't really want to delete it because if I do eventually get some kind of traffic, it might be kind of fun to like look back at how cringy my first video was. But also one of my kids is in that video, and he's super cute and he's not going to be a little baby forever, so I want to keep that video. But that basically encompassed the whole birth situation and didn't really just talk about my feelings. And so I just want, even if nobody sees this, it kind of helps me feel like I'm talking to somebody. So, yeah, there are days where I don't think I'm ever going to get over how jealous I am. Because my pregnancy was picture perfect. It was totally healthy. My kids were like growing like weeds. They had no problems at all. Super healthy. No morning sickness, none of that gunk. And then when my water broke and I got to the hospital, like everything was still fine. And then in the blink of an eye, my son that is in my first video, like he starts to crash. And actually, right as they were pulling him out, he died. But they were able to bring him back, which I'm extremely grateful for. And his brother also crashed and they got him back, and I'm extremely grateful for all that. And I really am. And I think a lot of people sometimes kind of think that I'm not grateful or grateful enough for the fact that they're alive. I am extremely grateful. I know that there are a lot of moms who are not as lucky. I know there are tons of moms that are not as lucky where their kids will go through what mine went through and they don't come back from it. And I know that. And when I first woke up from the anesthesia, I was under the impression that that was my situation, because they didn't tell me that my kids were okay. They just told me that they crashed. And they didn't tell me they were okay until after I began melting down and sobbing like a ding dong. And I'm not saying people that sob are ding dongs. I just felt like a ding dong. I get embarrassed very easily. But when I see pictures of people having skin to skin contact with their babies, or breastfeeding their babies, or um like things that are like, oh, I can't wait for this moment, and it's like a guy stroking his wife or girlfriend's hair, and she's holding their newborn baby, and she's in the hospital bed, and they're both got tears, and she's all sweaty from delivering and everything like that. And like, it sounds goofy, but like, until you've had a kid and it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, you don't realize how much you wish you could have a picture of you all sweaty and gross looking, holding your baby with your husband or whoever up beside you. I didn't get that. When I went to the hospital, hopefully I don't get emotional. I mostly have gotten to the point where I don't, but I've also, like I said, never really gotten to fully talk this out. And so this video might be a really long video. It's already 5 minutes in. But when I got to the hospital, expecting that my mom and my husband were going to be in the room with me, and it was going to be this wonderful thing. And both babies were in the prime position to come out vaginally. And I was so excited, and I've been waiting all my whole life to be a mom and to have that experience, and to have me and my kids being the center of attention. And we were the center of attention, all right, but it wasn't in a fun way. And I looked forward to my husband telling me how proud he was of me, and he wanted to cut the cords, and my mom being with me. And I didn't get that. I didn't even get to meet my kids until they were 3 days old. And when I first met them, one of them I couldn't even touch or talk to or be near because he was so traumatized. And that's the little one I was holding in my first video. He was so traumatized that if you even whispered near him, he'd clamp his mouth shut and start desatting really bad, and his alarm would go off red. So, for 6 days, I couldn't have any contact with one of my sons. For 6 days. I couldn't have any contact with him. And it sucked so bad. And I know that being an infant and everything, he's not going to remember, but like, as a mom, I felt like he was going to feel like I didn't care about him as much because I was constantly by his brother and I wasn't over by him. But I had to watch from a distance because I didn't want to hurt him. That's not what any mom wants when they have their kid. They don't want to not be able to interact with them because they'll probably hurt them. And that is just so not what I thought this experience would be. I thought it would be 2-3 days of being in the hospital and people coming in to visit and snuggling on the baby and seeing how I'm doing and seeing how they're doing, and pushing the babies out, and then having my husband being all, I'm so proud of you, and getting to take pictures, newborn pictures. I didn't get newborn pictures. I did, but I didn't. Every picture of them when they were less than a month old, they are covered in tubes. And eventually they had less and less tubes, but they still had tubes, and they were still in the hospital, and I couldn't get pictures of them. My boys are almost 3 months old now, and can't get newborn pictures of them. They're not newborns anymore. I didn't get newborn pictures. I didn't get hospital pictures. I didn't get any of that because I didn't even get... Yeah, I'm going to get really emotional. I'm still going to post this, but I didn't even get footprints. A lot of moms get footprints. I didn't get footprints. So I'm not going to have like a little memory of how little their feet were when they were born or any of that. I didn't get footprints. I didn't get footprints. I didn't get hospital bracelets. I didn't get any of that. Because they were in such a dire situation, they didn't have any time for it. And when they got to UVA, to their NICU, they didn't know their names. So they got bracelets there, but it says one Esther boy and two Esther boy. It doesn't say their names. So, like, I can use those, for keepsakes, but it's not their names. And you wouldn't believe the struggle I went through to get their names put in the friggin' system. It took forever for me to get their actual names in the system. Everything said one Esther boy and two Esther boy. And I'm like, their names are Lloyd and Jonathan. They're not Esther boy. That's not their name. It's Lloyd is one and two is Jonathan. And and so it's just, I get so jealous because people, they have their babies and they have all these visitors and everything's so great. I had two people from church came to see me, and my boss came to see me. And I really appreciated my boss coming to see me. And then I had one friend that came to see me, and it was very, very nice. It was hard when my friend came to see me. She brought her boys with her, and her 4-year-old says to his mom, "Why are we here?" And she says, "Well, Mrs. McDaniel," because I used to teach him at preschool. She says, "Well, Mrs. McDaniel had her babies." And he asked where they were, and I could see this like look of worry on my friend's face, like, what do I tell my kid? So it was hard because I wanted to cry because he was just so innocent, and I just told him that they were very sick and they had to go to a different hospital. And he was just like, "Oh, okay." And she was like one of my really good friends. But like the person that was supposed to be my best friend that had been saying ever since I got pregnant that she was going to be their aunt and everything like that, she never showed up. She never even asked if they were okay, and she knew. She was told what happened, but she never even asked if they were okay, never came to see us, never came to even see me when I was alone. I mean, I had my mom, but like, as when I say alone, I mean my husband and my kids were gone. My husband did exactly what I wanted him to do, and he went with the boys to UVA. But I didn't have my husband, and I didn't have my kids. And I was just sitting there in the hospital, just crying for 3 days. If I wasn't crying, I was sleeping or trying really hard to enjoy watching the Golden Girls with my mom. Because it was hard. I wanted nothing more. My husband sent me as many pictures as he could of my kids. I didn't eat. I had no appetite until I was able to hold one of the boys. No appetite at all. And once I finally held Jonathan, because again, I told you guys I couldn't interact with Lloyd at all. All I could do was look at him for like almost a week. When I finally held Jonathan, after I put him back so that my husband and I could go back to the Ronald McDonald house to sleep, I looked at my husband and I was like, "Can we go to McDonald's? Because I'm actually hungry finally." And I hadn't eaten. I was drinking stuff to keep myself alive. I just wasn't hungry. I just really wasn't hungry. And it was bad for my breast milk because I was pumping because when they first got to the hospital, their bodies couldn't handle formula. I was pumping and everything, so I would try to make myself eat a little bit, but was so sick to my stomach because of what was going on with my kids. And, and I just get I cry. Tears of sadness and jealousy and anger when people talk about how beautiful this was and that was. And it's not that I'm not happy for them. I'm so happy for people that have smooth deliveries and get to hold their kids and take their kids home and all that. I am beyond thrilled for them because I wish I could have had that. But that's exactly it. I wish I could have had that. I don't get feelings of jealousy and stuff because I don't think that other people deserve it. I get feelings of jealousy and stuff because I just don't get why it couldn't happen for me. I don't understand why I had to go through the trial that I went through. And I know people that there's people that have it worse than I do, and that had it worse than I did. I know I'm gonna be having to keep an eye on my kids for the rest of their lives because their lungs are weak, and they had to be put in hypothermia and they had to be rewarmed. So there's possibilities for vision problems and hearing loss, and it's just I just don't understand why everything went so good and then it all went to crap at the tail end. And so I get jealous a lot. I do. And so that's why I just don't think people should feel bad. I'm kind of carrying on, and I know that, but like I said, I don't even know if anyone's ever going to watch this. I might just be the one that comes back and watches it once in a while. But yeah, I just don't think people should feel bad for being jealous and for seeing things go the way that they wanted it to go and they didn't get to have that. Because for the rest of my life, I think, I'm going to hurt over the fact that I don't have newborn pictures, decent hospital pictures, footprints, hospital bracelets, or memories that don't make me want to cry and cling to my children for dear life of their birth. And if I ever have another kid and everything goes wonderfully and perfect and everything, I'm afraid I'm going to feel bad that it went perfect because it didn't go perfect for them. Or that they're going to get older and see pictures of their sibling in the hospital and see pictures of their sibling having everything I wanted with them and start questioning why they don't have any pictures of them like that. And then I have to explain to them, well, because everything went to crap right at the last second. And I struggle still with mom guilt too. Not just pregnancy jealousy and childbirth jealousy, but mom guilt. Such horrible mom guilt. Because I told, and this is another video as well, I told the doctors 2 days prior that I was really concerned that Lloyd, specifically Lloyd, was going to prolapse his cord. And they didn't listen to me. And I didn't continue pushing. I should have continued pushing, and I didn't. And Lloyd prolapsed his cord. That's what killed him. Initially. I don't want to say killed. I shouldn't say killed. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. And please, nobody point that out to me. Don't stop the video after you hear that and then say, well, he didn't get killed. He came back to life. I know that. I shouldn't have said killed. That was a poor choice of words. So if anyone's going to comment that, I'm just going to delete the comment. It's initially what caused him to crash. I should not have said killed because he did not die and stay dead. He crashed and got brought back to life. So he's here, he's alive, he's healthy. I get that. It's initially what caused him to crash was he prolapsed his cord. And then because of that, the whole thing with Jonathan not getting the attention he needed, and then he crashed. And because they both crashed, and then they had to get taken to UVA, and they had to be cold, and they had to be rewarmed, and now they've got all these complications. And I mean, they're seemingly healthy now, but when I say complications, I mean things that can literally happen at any time that could really decrease their quality of life. And especially the weak lungs thing, because they have to go to daycare because I work in daycare and I can't do anything else with them. I don't have any other child care option. And so my mom guilt is the fact that, like, I feel like I didn't push hard enough to get them delivered on Monday. And they had to wait until Wednesday. And I feel like because they waited until Wednesday, everything went to crap. They were over 34 weeks, and the doctor told me that as long as they hit 34 weeks, they'd have to be in the regular hospital for about 5 days, but they wouldn't have to go to the NICU. And so, I hit 34 weeks on July 5th, and I thought everything was fine, and then I got concerned, but I didn't push hard enough, and resulted in having such a terrible birth experience, and I just feel a lot like it's my fault that they had such a rough time. But anyway, I'm sure I'll probably talk about it again on a different video. Maybe not the exact same thing, but different aspects of it. But this is already 20 minutes long, and I don't want to drag it forever. So, anyways, have a good day. Bye-bye.